So we're very honored today to have Farima come and speak with us. Berenji, is that how you say your last name? Berenji? We're celebrating the Novruz holiday, which is the traditional spring and New Year celebration in Persia, a Persian holiday. And Farima is here to help us celebrate and understand. One of the things that I love about UCM and CCL is the fact that we are open to learning about so many different paths. We're so blessed. We're so lucky to know that love runs through everything. And as we are a part of that love, we know that no matter what your philosophy, no matter what you follow, it all leads to the same thing, which is love. So I'm very pleased and honored to invite Farima up here to come and speak to us this
Yay!
And don't be surprised, Farima, if people come in here at 11.
Because they will.
They will.
But, you know, I know you have a hard stop, but you've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
20-25 minutes, so go for it.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you so much for being here. I woke up thinking, is anybody going to show up? I love to come and give a talk here, and I've seen most of your beautiful faces before. And if you were here, I've given a talk on the Magi's and the winter solstice, I think. There was one more. I think this is my fourth one. And yeah. So I love giving talks here. Thank you so much. So today I am going to talk about Norouz. In Farsi we say Norouz, and Central Asia they say Novruz. Novruz. And there's so many different ways you spell it. There's actually no right way or a wrong way to spell Norouz. So if you Google Norouz, you will find at least 20 ways of spelling it. And even it's to a point that the United Nations has stepped in and said we gotta figure this out.
I know Donnie was like, is that the way you spell it? I said, that's the way
Yeah.
Terry gave it?
I mean, you will have flyers and pamphlets with all these different kinds of spelling. And so last year there was a petition for the United Nations to come in because everybody was fighting over the spelling to finally figure out which one to use, and even then it didn't help. That's just us Persians, we just make problems. So if you were here during my winter solstice talk, you might find this a lot more easy to understand because it's very related to what I given a talk with the mythology part of it. If not, I will try to explain a little bit about what each of these, the stuff that I'm going to talk about means. So Norouz literally means new day. No in Farsi means new, and Ruz means day, new day. And we celebrate Norouz on the exact second of the solstice, equinox. So when the sun and the moon are equal, that's the time we celebrate. So every year it's different. It's not like the Western New Year where it's always midnight. No, for us, one year is 2 a.m., one is 9 a.m., one might be 5 a.m. So every year is different. And we try to stay up onto that exact second and celebrate.
Wow.
Yes, we try.
Try.
Now, there is, of course, not just the new day, Norouz, but prior to that, the festivities began. Now, this festivities dates back to 12,000 years during the time of Mithra, the sun god. If any of you guys watches these fantasy movies such as Lord of the Ring or Game of Thrones, you might find this very interesting because most of these tales have actually come from Persian history, from Persian mythology. So one example is, if you ever seen Lord of the Ring, you notice that when they seek for help, they light up the beacons so that the other tribes can understand and come to their aid. 7 days before the start of Norouz, it is tradition that the beacons are lit. So the message, the fire message, is passed down from city to city to countries. It starts from the main fire temple that the fire has been running in Iran for about 10,000 years now. The fire has not stopped. Someone goes and lights up a fire, just like passing the torch. They go and light up that fire, and they go and light up the first beacon into that city. And from that, the beacon starts to be lit all over Persia. And it goes all the way through Central Asia, believe it or not. And until the last beacon is lit, then it is the sign that Norouz is coming. You have 7 days. So 7 days prior to that, we call it Chaharshanbe Suri, meaning the Red Wednesday. And so by this time, all the beacons are lit, and the Red Wednesday starts, which is the Tuesday before, usually the Tuesday night before the New Year. And once the beacons are lit, then you start to make fire around your backyard, or light up a candle, and you say a prayer and you jump over this fire. And then you say a mantra. Dear Lord, the light, take away all my sadness and grief, and give me back all the beauties of the world to clean my soul. So we jump or light up a candle.
That's lovely.
Yes. In ancient times, it was believed that, of course, fire represents the sun god or sun goddess, Mitra. And so here, of course, in the western region, we have the concept of Halloween. Now, it was believed that once the beacons are lit, you would put the candle outside or the fire outside once you jump over it, and you guide the souls who have passed on to come and find their way home so that they can also celebrate Norouz with you. So this light is left outside just like a jack-o'-lantern, so the souls can follow it and they find their way home and say, oh, this was my home, this was my family. So they are there with you celebrating Norouz. So this is the process 7 days before. And kids usually wear masks that night, and they go and knock at people's door and say, you've got to give me a treat or I'll trick you. Oh, look at that. So although we do not give out candies in Iran or Central Asia, usually they gave out these special Norouz nuts or homemade dishes like cookies or sweets. Candies, we don't give candies. So it's mostly, we call it the Wednesday night nuts, so we give nuts. And so the more nuts you have, the better.
Yay!
So that's 7 days prior to it. Then we go to, and these numbers that I gave you are all significant because the numbers 7, 8, 3, and 9 are very spiritual for us. 3 days before Norouz, it is time to clean the house and throw away the old energy. So we get up, it's traditionally sunrise, we get up and we say a prayer, and it's time to clean out the house. So people, basically, you clean up. Of course you have to clean all the time, but this is a special cleaning, and it's actually very fun because families get together and they go to each other's home that whole day, and they just clean. And they have lunch and dinner and food together. They sing and they put, it's a party. It's a cleaning party. So, and it's believed that the bad energy of the old year needs to go, so that once the home is clean, the new energy comes in. This process of cleaning goes back to thousands of years, because it was believed that the new year, springtime, it's a new beginning. And so when spring comes in, it takes away the darkness. And so all the dark of the world is going to go away.
Yay.
Now, it is also believed in the Eastern Christian tradition, Eastern Orthodox tradition, that Jesus was actually born in spring.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and Iranian Christians celebrate Norouz as the birth of Christ. If you've ever been to Iran, you know that it's very difficult to travel in winter. There's no way those 3 magi's could have walked all those miles to see Jesus. So it is, many believe that Jesus was born during the equinox time. So they celebrate the birth of Christ. So don't be surprised if you go to Iran during Norouz time and you find Christmas trees. You know, people have often been like, what is going on? It's like, no, we are actually celebrating the day of light. So many Iranian Christians do celebrate the birth of Jesus during equinox. So it is 2
Do
celebrations.
they get that and Christmas?
Yes. It's all fair. They get 2 gifts.
Right, Halloween and Christmas.
So then the new day comes in on the exact moment and it is celebrated. Now, again, there are a couple of things I forgot to mention. Within the 7-day period, we also, actually, it was a couple of days ago, there is a blessing ritual for the sprouts. So for Norouz, we have a tradition that we must put a table and we put 7 symbols starting with the letter S in Farsi. And these 7 symbols represent the 7 gods and goddesses of creation. And all of these are symbolic for you, and it's symbolic that the gods or goddesses have created. Now, again, in Christianity, it was believed that the world was created in 7 days. In Iranian tradition, it's believed that the 7 gods and goddesses created the world. At first, there were stars, okay? And these stars were, there were rock crystals in the sky, and the rock crystals hit each other, and they created clouds. So water came down, goddess Anahita. So we put water, and sometimes a fish, a goldfish, as a symbol of goddess Anahita. Water is the life. Without water, we won't be here.
Right.
And then, of course, water, then goddess Anahita bloomed out of a lotus from the Caspian Sea, and she woke up goddess Amaretat, the goddess of nature. So this is why we plant a sprout, or we plant a tree. And we do that, the green sprouts, and we do a blessing ritual. We give thanks to goddess Amaretat, and we leave it grow, or we can plant a tree or flower, anything we want. We just let it grow within the celebration festivities. And then, of course, Amaretat woke up the goddess of plants and animals. And from there, it went on. God of health was born, so we put garlic on the table. And then prosperity, we put apples. We put candles for light. And so we put these 7 symbols representing the 7 goddesses, and we leave the sprout starting from the day, the exact moment, and we leave it for 13 days. Okay? So why 13 days? So our New Year, it's long. Starts 7 days before and ends 13 days later. So usually people say, oh, it's New Year. We say Happy New Year for 13 days.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, why we keep it for 13 days? And why 13? Now, in Western culture, 13 is actually known to be a bad number, but not in our culture. In our culture, actually, 13 is supposed to be a lucky number. And it does come from a bad omen, but it's actually lucky. So why we leave it for 13 days? Well, if you think about the month, year cycle, it's 12 months. Each day of that new year, from the beginning of the time that starts, represents one day of the month. And each of those symbols, each of those gods and goddesses are protecting you from those months. So it was believed that when Ahura Mazda was born, he was born of a virgin goddess Anahita. Anahita was given a message from Mitra, the sun god, and saying, "You will bury my child." Anahita gave birth to Ahura Mazda, the light. And when Ahura Mazda was born, he had 12 followers. Each of these followers was the name of the month that we have.
Wow.
But the last one, the 13th month, which we don't have, the last one was Ahriman, the Dark Lord. And the Dark Lord betrayed Ahura Mazda on the last night that he was giving his talk to the people. And they killed him. Ahura Mazda died, but 3 days later he was risen as the Persian falcon. And this is why we paint eggs, because we believe that Ahura Mazda was born again, and one day he will come back. So we paint eggs and we put it. The celebration just like Easter, right? Like Good Friday. So we put that on the sprout on the table as well. So 13th was the Dark Lord. Now again, if you've seen Lord of the Ring, you know that the Dark Lord created a ring into the fires and had all these dark riders. Well, Ahriman was believed to create the ring of power, which you see in Persepolis, carved, big ring, and it is known that he created this ring into the fire temples and asked the gods to bring all the powers into this ring, and whoever has this ring takes away the world. And so it is believed that this is why right now we have chaos in the world. It's because one of the gods have touched that ring and has a hold of that ring, and so chaos is coming into the world. And so our mission as human beings is to take away that ring of power, take away that darkness from Ahriman to be able to bring back peace again to the world and unity. And so until he has that ring in his hand, we will have chaos. And so the concept of us celebrating for 12 days is to finally be able to get that ring back on the 13th day.
Okay.
So then 12 days we party, we exchange gifts, we go and see each other. Kids love it because they get a lot of gifts. And it is really your duty to go and visit your elders and go to the cemetery and greet the souls who've passed on. Usually they do have lunch or dinner around in the cemeteries to talk to the souls. So it's a beautiful festivities. Now on that 13th day, of course, when it is still a celebration, because believe it or not, we do need bad in this world to appreciate good. So for us, we appreciate the bad. So even though it's 13th and everybody knows that that's being bad, well, we say, well, no, let's celebrate it because the bad doesn't like celebration.
There you
The
go.
bad doesn't like you to smile, so if you smile, you take it away.
Like
So-
love thy enemies. Right?
Yes. So what do? On that 13th day, the sprout that we have grown, or the flower or the tree that we have grown, we take it and we go into nature because the bad doesn't like nature. Okay? We go into nature and the whole day we are in nature, either by the water, in gardens, and anywhere that it's nature. And we celebrate the whole day in nature by music, poetry, dancing, whirling, singing, anything we can do to take the bad omen out on this day. Then at the end of the day, when the sun sets, we go and plant the sprout or the flower or the tree that we have grown, and we give it back to Goddess Amaritat, to nature, so that next year we have a whole new year again. So this cycle is always going on. Then we come home, and of course it is believed that the bad omen is out, and we start a whole new year. So
Yay.
the new year from the 7th day before until 13th after is just happening, all these things happening. So this is a brief demonstration for you of what is Persian New Year and how we celebrate it and the symbolic of it. Norouz is not just being celebrated in Iran. Norouz is celebrated throughout Central Asia, even parts of Greece, and even parts of Arabia. It is called a Persianate New Year, meaning the people who are, everyone that was at once part of the Persian Empire. And the Persian Empire, as many of you might know, stretched across the globe. So a lot of the countries do celebrate the New Year, as, like I said, different names, different spelling, but everyone celebrates it the same way. Each country has its own way of celebration. Many have great festivities, some have smaller. So it's any region or any country you go, you celebrate it. It is not a religious ceremony. It is more of a cultural ceremony. So no matter what religion you are, you celebrate Norouz. Like I said, the Iranian Christians do, the Zoroastrians do. So everyone that from any religion celebrates it because it is the coming of the new day and the light is going to shine upon us. So I wish you a happy Norouz, which will be March 20th in the morning, I believe. I have to get the exact time right. And we hope that the light shines upon you, and we hope that the bad omen is away, and that the light, God, whatever you believe in, helps you, and we can bring in good energy back to this world again. And if you ever had a chance, the last night, the last Tuesday of that, which is the lighting of the beacons, light up a candle and jump over it or say a prayer. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.